All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right. New evidence out that, which this case has come like 360 back around, right? Where in the beginning it looked different than what, everyone was saying. But now they're saying that uh, it's most likely came from the back, from behind him, right? Hit him. But see, I have a problem though with that because they're trying to say the guy was in a window and you could see the reflection of a barrel, uh, of a flash barrel, you know, a flash on the barrel coming out. But I don't think so. And the reason I say that, good morning, Miss Debbie Fox. The reason I say that is because there's no holes or no windows that were blown out. So that I do believe they're right. What we're seeing is blood come out of his behind his ear or in his ear. Okay, right behind his ear, it looks like. And what people are thinking is a wire is actually blood splatter. So we're gonna take a look real quick, just to oh yeah, and it does like that's why his head went forward is because it was a the momentum of the shot pushed his head forward. So if you see this right here, folks, everyone's saying, "Oh, well, that's a wire. That's a wire from his earpiece or whatever." But now that they zoomed in on it and looked at it, it's blood. It's from the entry room. So what you're seeing there, this like line right here or whatever, is actually blood splatter. It's that's where the bullet hit him right behind the ear or in the ear, like right in his ear hole, uh, and it's causing blood to splatter out. So that makes sense. A lot of people are saying, well, that's his chain, that's the wire to his headpiece, uh, his earpiece, or whatever. You know, the, it wouldn't be all the way over here. It's connected here, it runs around and then comes up and goes around his ear. So I don't think so. I think they got it right. It is blood splatter coming from that area, and that explains why we're seeing an exit wound in the front of his neck. So I think now we're back on track. Now a lot of people are saying, "Well, what happened to them cameras or microphones that were hanging behind him?" We don't know, right? There's people saying that people came in and took them. Uh, but I don't know who them people were. And there was two devices hanging behind Charlie. One was a camera, and the other one was some kind of a black. I don't know if it was a camera or a giant microphone or something was hanging behind Charlie, and we seen that guy come up and remove both of them and walk away, right? So I don't know, but them people they do have good ideas that maybe the shooter was in that building and the shot came from behind him, but in the building behind the glass. But you would have heard glass shattering and you would have seen holes in that glass. So I think it came from that side, right? Towards the back of them from the right side. That's true, but not up in that window. It was too high of a trajectory. Uh, and I think you would have heard the glass breaking. That whole back area where Charlie was above it, that was all windows. You would have heard glass breaking, right? And we didn't see that. We don't see any them are fixed. They're not you can't open them windows. They're permanent windows. So I was watching Heavy Duty Country and he was asking do them windows roll Do they move? I don't think so. They're permanent windows because that's all a walkway up there. So I imagine for safety reasons, it's probably safety glass or tempered glass or whatever they call it. So no one could jump out of the windows or anything like that. So they're permanently fixed windows. They don't open up. So yeah, but I don't think it's possible though that that could happen. But we would see evidence of the window being shattered, of the bullet coming through. We would have seen that. Wait, that something ain't right here. This window is shiny, but this window here is not giving no reflection at all. Meaning it's possible that window was open. But if you look at that film of all them windows behind Charlie, above Charlie, and behind him, every one of them is casting a reflection. So that means they're not open. You know, they're actually in there. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me see what Debbie's saying. I will be watching, doing stuff. Okay, Miss Deb, I got stuff to do around here too. I had to run to the store, and I'm back, and that explains why his head snaps forward and to the left, and we're seeing an exit wound. Now they're saying reports coming in. Charlie did not have any body armor on that day, and something ain't adding up. It does look like he has body armor on. Depending on what caliber of weapon it was, would it shake the body like that and make the fat or whatever on him roll like that? Yeah, it probably would. But as you can see already in this photo, this blood, I don't think that's a line, that's blood splattering out. They say it's a cord or his necklace or whatever, but I don't think so. I think they got it right. It looks like blood that from an entry wound, and not much. And I'm shocked we're even seeing that. Um, but that's what it is. It's not the chain. It's not. It's blood splurting out. My condolences to his family. Something is going on because yeah, it does look like he's got a vest on. I was just watching on Facebook. Germany just came out with new article of clothing uh, that is no plating in it at all. It just looks like a piece of clothes. It just looks like a t-shirt or a jacket or I mean that's how far it's come. He might have had a bulletproof t-shirt on that he was wearing there. Maybe with no armor. That's true because I just seen it on Facebook. Germany's come out with new stuff. It's just a piece of a cloth. It's just clothing. No steel plates or anything in it. No nothing. Just woven special material. And you know, if he didn't have body armor on, then somebody's cahoots with something because his team should have said we're not. His wife should have said you're not going out without body armor on. This is very fishy, folks, because even his team, his security team, should have told him, "Oh no, 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 no. You're gonna have your body armor on at all times when you're outside of these events." And for them to say, "Well, you didn't have none on," well, then something ain't right, and I wouldn't hire that security team because with something like that, if you're in charge of the security team, what's the first thing you're going to tell them especially if you're undermanned and under power? Well, you're wearing your vest, or we're calling the whole thing off. And if I was running the security team, I would have said, "Well, I'm quitting. You go out there without a vest on. We're already under manpower. Uh, you got 4,000 people showing up there. You're gonna wear a vest, or we're out of here." And that's what I would have done. And it's even becoming more fishy because now everyone, well, he didn't have a vest on. Well, who knows? If he did have a vest on, well, then that explains some of the stuff we're seeing in the front of him. Um, you know, if he didn't, then it's his own fault. I don't know what to say. And I imagine other professionals will say the same thing. Very risky, too risky, especially when you don't have enough manpower to be out uh, without a vest on. Too risky. And that's jeopardizing my company and so I would have pulled out on that uh, and let someone else do it. Right? And we're going to see. We'll find out. But what does it look like? Yeah, it looks like it came from the right side, upper behind him. It could have came from somebody that was inside or on that them stadium. The levels or something. I don't think it was that high of a trajectory. I think it was lower, but from that area. I don't think it came from a window or anything because they don't open. And we know if a bullet came through one of them windows, it would have shattered the window, or there would at least be, after everyone left and they're showing all them windows, there would be a hole in that window. And you would see it. You definitely would see a hole in the window. Uh, Mainly pushing out towards the outdoors. Uh, well, that's very possible. So we're right back to where we thought something wasn't right. And I even took in consideration it was a front shot and maybe it hit his cross. How big was his cross? Right. We know his chain was at least an eighth inch thick because I can see when he shows up there, he's throwing hats out into the crowd, and you can see his chain. You don't see no wire. You can see his silver chain. And I took in consideration, man, maybe Charlie got lucky and that bullet came from the front and it hit his cross, which he had a giant cross on, which was probably silver. And the bullet fragmented and caught him in the neck. But that's not the case because I watched a couple videos and there's no holes in that shirt. If it was a front shot, there would be a hole in that shirt, even if it didn't. Even if he was had body armor on, there would still be a hole in the shirt if the shirt wasn't bulletproof. And there's not. There's nothing. And then I took in consideration, look at his body, the way his body's reacting, and his head flies forward and to the right or to the left, right? Which we can see it's heading towards the left. Well, the only other thing that would do that is a shot from behind, which is causing his head and his neck to snap forward, and then it recoils back, you know, after the force. Yeah, so it makes sense. And that's probably what that is blood squirting out of the entry hole. And like I said, look at the other photos of him getting there and throwing the hatch. You can see it's a thick chain. It's a very thick chain, and it might have hit that and ricocheted. Maybe we know his wife was holding up the chain and the cross was it. Did it get hit? Did it hit that after it came out and it grabbed it as the bullet, was leaving and it lifted up the shirt? Yeah, that's possible. Where it came out, it hit his necklace, and the bullet continued on a downward trajectory and pulled his chain. It could have broke it. It could have, when it hit it, it snapped the chain, and the chain went in two pieces. That's also possible. But that's what I think that one guy, and we said that before everyone else, we were looking at the cameras, but there was a lot of people saying, well, you're crazy. It didn't come from behind, it came from forward. Well, we don't know. There could have been two shooters. One hit him from the front and missed, and the other one seen that it was the shot was missed and took the shot from the side. If it's as professional as these people are saying this was a professional thing, then we know that there was probably other shooters there, and he wasn't going to leave there that day on his own 2 feet. You know? Let me see. Debbie says, I hate this picture so much. It disrespects to keep showing it, Johnny. Yeah, but that's part of the job of figuring out cases, Debbie. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, is probably it came from behind. Uh, the Great Eagles. A couple shooters, maybe more. Everyone had guns there that day. There's like 4 or 5 people that we found that had weapons there. So now you got confusion. Now you got more than one person there with weapons. Um, you got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. And what does that enter in? Well, confusion. The more confusion, the more easier it is for the real people to get away. So it don't make sense. And everything is pointing to there probably was other people there that knew what was going on. Probably following these Tyler and the rest of these people on Discord. And they seen almost like the Delphi case. The Delphi, Indiana case. There was other people that knew the girls were going to be there because they were also using an account. And it's bad because you got people that are watching us, and they could be hackers or they could be government, and they see an opportunity to use somebody as a patsy, and they do the killings and someone else gets blamed. That's true. That's a proven fact. Um, a proven fact. So is it possible there was more than one person there with weapon? Well, we know for a fact there was many people there with weapons. Many. There's 4 of them that were seen already. Now, whether they were AI generated and put out by the government, FBI, no matter what, we know there was 4 shooters there that we can see. 4 people with weapons that were not security. So what is that? Well, that's a coup. It's a conspiracy. No matter who did it, whether it was government, whether it was some radicals watching Tyler on Discord or the internet and seeing a chance to use him as a patsy. That's true. It happens. It happens every single day. You just don't hear about it in this country, but it happens every day in other countries. So now what do you got? Well, now you got a conspiracy to cover up something or a conspiracy coup to take someone out. Where there's more than one person conspiring is a coup or uh, uh, I forget what they call it, but it's not good. It was all, why would some old man step, after he gets shot, why would some old man start screaming out that he did it and he'd do it again? right? Diversion. Yeah, that happens. Could have been. What about the other guy that was dressed all in black that was riding a bicycle around there and had a pellet gun, a pellet rifle gun or whatever? Yeah, that's true. Right? Diversion or yeah. What about the guy walking with the black suit and the duffel bag, right? Running from there all dressed in a black suit, white shirt, wearing a glove. You know, yeah. Diversions to cause more confusion. The more confusion, the more people are scratching their head going, oh, what the heck just happened? Nah, probably not good. America's over with, folks. We've been trying to tell you is no one want, the big dogs don't want to tell you because they pocketed all their money. But it's over with. The power of the United States, it's just a lot of people don't want to believe it's real, but it's true. We're no longer the biggest, baddest thing or whatever. Who cares? We don't want to. It costs us too much money to be the biggest, baddest thing in biggest, baddest country. We don't bring enough money in, and when they do bring the money in, it's these big people that are pocketing the money. And these people say, well, money trickles down from the rich. It's our money. It ain't even theirs. We all seen Goodfellas, right? The one guy does the murder, but other people planned it. Being that he's the boss of the crew, he keeps the money and starts killing everybody else. No. All right, folks, there you go. So new evidence out. They're now changing it to thinking that the shot came from the back. You folks have a great day. We'll be back with more evidence as it comes out. We also got more storms coming in. It rained all night last night. We needed the rain. God bless everyone. Um, and we'll be back later. And we know the truth now, so we got that done. You folks have a good day.